People, I came across this particular clip on the Don Lemon Show, and I just got to get this out there to you. I mean, I have, over the last like 24 hours or so, basically come across so many stories. It's going to take me like forever to get them up, but I am going to get them up. This particular one, in my mind, reminds me of what happened in World War II when the Nazis were invading various countries, and there were people that were called collaborators, okay? And they would basically turn against their own people in order to try to curry favor with the Nazis. Now, in my opinion, you're going to see a woman that, to me, fits the definition of collaborator. Here we go.
Abdallah, the host of the Dino Abdallah Show on Sirius XM, and Saba Ahmed, the founder of the Republican Muslim Coalition. Good evening to both of you. Saba, I want to begin with you. How much responsibility should Donald Trump, the president-elect, claim for these hateful incidents around the country, many of them directly invoking his name?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's Donald Trump's fault that a lot of protests are going on. I think a lot of people were scared into voting for Clinton, especially in our Muslim community. I think we need to accept the fact that Donald Trump is our president and come to terms with his presidency and support him and in whatever way we can. I think the best way for Muslims to engage in the future years is for us to get involved with his administration and get into cabinet level positions or high level agency positions to make a difference.
Perhaps you didn't understand the question, so I'll read it again. How much of responsibility should President-elect Donald Trump claim for these hateful incidents around the country, not the protests, that many are directly invoking his name? The ones that were just in the story about swastikas and so on, and people intimidating Muslims if people weren't.
Donald Trump has condemned such hateful rhetoric, and he has condemned hate crimes. I think obviously he could do more.
Yeah, see, and now here's the first one. That's bullshit. Donald Trump was on 60 Minutes, and the only thing that he said is, stop it. He has not come out with any type of a detailed or heartfelt statement. So what she just said is bullshit.
Coming out strongly against those of his supporters that are misusing his name to commit violent atrocities. But again, like I said, Muslims need to step up their efforts in terms of outreach to Republicans and to the general American public. I think Muslim Americans we don't need to play the victim games. We need to get involved in his administration and make a difference.
That's just it. He does not want you guys involved in his administration. Donald Trump, by the people that he has put in place and is putting in place, has sent a clear message to the Muslim community that you guys are not wanted. You're not wanted. But you're too dumb to basically see the handwriting on the wall. And it's not even handwriting on the wall. Breitbart has actually written articles attacking you specifically. Steve Bannon was running Breitbart when those articles were written. So you basically are ignoring the fact that this guy hates Muslims and specifically hates you.
Dino Abdallah, Chris Kobach, a member of Trump's transition team, has suggested that the new administration could reinstate a national registry for immigrants from countries where terrorist groups were active. Is this constitutional?
As a former lawyer, I would say actually it probably is constitutional. It's only dealing with immigrants, not U.S. citizens. It is wrong. It is sending the message, frankly, Don, that any Muslim coming in is potentially dangerous. It's alarming. And Donald Trump in this campaign, let's be blunt, and I like Sabah a great deal, but Donald Trump has said Islam hates us. He said thousands of Muslims cheered on 9/11, lying about that, said that we hide terrorists allegedly in our midst. He said, I want surveillance of these people. I'm not even American. I'm these people. Those exact words. these people. Donald Trump needs to come out and say to these people who are committing acts of hate in his name that it's wrong. More than stop it, like he's talking to a child. Come out and say it's wrong. Before the election, there were mosques in Iowa and New Jersey defaced with the word Trump. Like the word Trump is becoming a modern-day swastika in itself.
Yeah, the word Trump is becoming a modern-day swastika. Case in point, instead of the letter T in Trump's name, they replaced that letter T with a swastika. So you decide for yourself if the name Trump isn't becoming synonymous with neo-Nazi white supremacists.
People on the far right of his base. So Donald Trump, come out, be the president for all people. You want to do that? Get rid of Steve Bannon and come out and say this is wrong very clearly.
Collaborator says that this is about geography and fighting terror, not an attack on religion. Does that make a difference to you, Saba?
No, obviously, when you talk about religious discrimination, that goes into the realm of unconstitutional and illegal ideas, and I would hate to see anybody's civil liberties trampled in the name of national security. But at the same time, obviously, like I said, Muslim Americans need to step up their efforts in terms of their outreach to Trump. We have yet to have a meeting of Muslim leaders with the Trump administration. We've had some people meet with him individually, but I think it would be nice to see the Muslim American leadership step up and accept the president-elect and meet with him directly and raise their concerns and get him to speak for us.
Does it make a difference that he said that this is it's about geography and fighting terror and not about religion to you?
Well, he was talking about specifically the Syrian refugees, I think, in that realm. Okay. He's mentioned that, certain people coming in from certain state sponsors of terrorism should be monitored. And I think we already have many federal laws that ban visas from certain countries and for certain people, and we obviously don't want any further terrorism in this country. We do want to strengthen and vet every single person who's coming into the country with secure borders, with secure national security policies. Okay. But at the same time, we don't need to blame religion for it.
You know what, the idea that this is policy or not, I'm not sure. The idea the Muslim ban really wasn't policy. The Muslim ban of Donald Trump, which he has walked back, was clearly telling our fellow Americans that every Muslim is so potentially dangerous, I have to ban them all. That is scary. That's why we've seen a spike in hate crimes. That's why the FBI just came out with a report in 2015, 67% increase in hate crimes against Muslims. And I'm concerned it'll be worse. Now, if you can get Donald Trump to meet with Muslim American leaders, I think many of us will be happy to meet with him. He might not like the meeting, but we're going to push him hard on it. We're going to tell him, get rid of Steve Bannon, be inclusive, to acknowledge that you ginned up hate of our community in ways I've never, ever seen a politician.
Before you respond, let me say this.
No, before you say this, let me say this. She says she thinks he's tried. Yeah, right. Okay. Donald Trump has tried to meet with members of the Muslim American community just as hard as he's tried to meet with members of the African American community. Specifically, he has received invitations from the NAACP, from the Urban League. He's received invitations to come on various radio shows, the Tom Joyner Show. He's received an invitation to come on Roland Martin's show on News One Now, TV One. He hasn't found time to meet with any black people, and you really think that he wants to meet with any Muslim American representative group? Really?
Trump's transition team has denied that Trump has said anything about a Muslim registry. However, Trump offered a series of muddled responses, including to NBC late last year, saying he would implement that when asked what could Trump do to reassure Muslim Americans. So what do you say?
Okay, and I'm going to find, I got that clip somewhere. I'm going to find that clip and play it for you guys.
See, he said a lot of things during the campaign. Not all campaign rhetoric becomes law.
No, not all campaign rhetoric becomes law, but at least it lets you get an idea of the mindset of the person making the statement.
I think, we do need to step up our lobbying efforts here in Washington, D.C. if we really want to reach out to Trump. I mean, everybody in his administration is very accessible, and I would just urge the Muslim American...
That is such bullshit that everybody's readily accessible. They are probably the most inaccessible people in the country at this moment.
instead of taking insult and instead of isolating ourselves, we need to step up and do our part in our outreach and be very respectful when we do meet with the president-elect and see him as an ally and how we can work together strategically for the next 4 to 8 years. We can't afford to ignore the new president. We have to accept him, and we must be willing proactively in terms of our outreach.
Yeah, you're right. You can't afford to ignore President-elect Trump. You better pay really close attention because he is coming for your ass.
We're not, I don't know where you're getting this, that we're isolating ourselves from it. If Donald Trump wants to reach out to leaders in our community, acknowledge the mistakes he's made, apologize for demonizing our community, I think he might find some common ground. But let's be blunt about Steve Bannon. We've talked so much about the white supremacy or anti-Semitism on his website. He has given Steve Bannon, during his time at Breitbart, he's given the most vile anti-Muslim bigots a chance to write articles, including about you, Saba. Bridget Gibbon wrote a horrible article about you. And he's let Pamela Geller write articles, Frank Gaffney. Gertz Wilder, a Dutch lawmaker, not even from America, who hates Muslims. He gave him a platform.
But these are all the people who helped him get elected, so he's not...
Exactly. That's the whole point. All of these goddamn white supremacists, neo-Nazis, Muslim haters, he's siding with them because they helped his ass get elected. It can't be said any more clearer than that.
Just get rid of them overnight.
Does that make it okay, though?
No, it doesn't, but we do need to step up our outreach. If we're not at the table, then we're going to stay at the menu. And we have to engage with his administration.
I've got to go. Thank you very much.
All right, so like I said, Collaborator. Now let me see if I can locate those clips with Donald Trump indicating that he wants to go even beyond the Muslim registry. Now, just so that there's no misunderstanding, here was the Trump's official position on a Muslim registry.
Trump campaign, as of tonight, is also now claiming that Donald Trump, as a candidate, never advocated these controversial policies that Chris Kobach has been talking about implementing for the past week. I think they're trying to maintain here that Chris Kobach just made this stuff up and it was never Donald Trump's positions. This was the statement from the Trump transition tonight. Quote, President-elect Trump has never advocated for any registry or system that tracks individuals based on their religion. And to imply otherwise is completely false. That's what they're trying to say now. And that's insane.
Should there be a database system that tracks the Muslims in this country?
There should be a lot of systems beyond database. I mean, we should have a lot of systems.
But that's something your White House would like to do.
Oh, I would certainly implement that. Absolutely.
Now, you heard it for yourself that Donald Trump is talking about implementing a Muslim registration system. Now, in case you don't know who Chris Kobach is and what he's advocating, here's a clip from Fox News. Okay, like I said, here's the latest on one of Trump's main advisors and surrogates regarding Muslim registries. And check this out.
With Iran back a while ago, we did it during World War II with Japanese, which, you know, call what you will, maybe
You're not proposing we go back to the days of internment camps, I hope.
No, I'm not proposing that at all, Megan. But what I am saying is that
you know better than to suggest that. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that gets people scared, Carl.
Right, but I'm just saying there is precedent for it, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but in this case, I absolutely believe
you can't be citing Japanese internment camps as precedent for anything the president-elect is going to do.
Look, the president needs to protect America first, and if that means having people that are not protected under our Constitution have some sort of registry so we can understand, until we can identify the true threat and where it's coming from, I support it.
Now, this is the stuff that the Trump people are pushing, okay? And what this guy was trying to dance around was basically a Muslim registry first, and this is my opinion now, first for people coming into the country, okay, but that's just a hop, skip, and a jump to registering people that are already in the country and Muslim American citizens. So you make your own decision on which way you think this is going to go. But hang on.
An unusual development. The man who has spent the whole last week representing himself as the immigration chief for the Trump transition team, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, the guy who wrote the Papers, Please law in Arizona and the anti-immigrant law in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and the anti-immigrant law in Alabama. Chris Kobach, he has spent the last week describing what he says will be the Trump the Trump administration's first actions on immigration and what they plan to do over the course of their time in office. He's the guy who has said that Trump will be ready to massively increase deportations as of day one. He is the one who has said there will be an immigration ban on Muslims. There will be a registry of Muslims. Well, after that solid week of news from Chris Kobach, who says he's the immigration guy in the Trump transition team, the Trump transition team said today that actually they've decided that Chris Kobach is not on the transition team. Now, what's weird about that is that they're not announcing that they are firing him. What they're doing is they're saying he was never on the transition team in the first place. He's just been on TV every single day for the past week, speaking for the Trump transition team on the issue of immigration. And apparently what they're going to say about that is that they didn't notice he was doing that until now. Hey, who's that guy? None of us know him. He doesn't speak for us. And if you want to throw a grappling hook...
All right, so you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Chris Christie claiming on Bridgegate that he didn't know anything that was going on with people underneath him. If you believe that this guy wasn't part of the Trump transition team and he was out there with their full knowledge, and now because they recognize how inflammatory it is that they're trying to walk away from him, I got some real estate in Arizona. It's called the Grand Canyon that is for sale, and I would love for you to have.